Well, have you ever had buyer's remorse? You know, when you buy something and you regret it about a day later or a month later. Well, that's what this video is about, and I'm going to tell you that this all started in March of 2020. It was right after COVID, right at the beginning of COVID. You know, you might remember the market dropped considerably, and I had just got my account funded. I wanted to get in on that drop because I had a hunch that things were going to go south big time. Of course, I wouldn't have known how to make a trade at that time, but I felt confident. Anyway, I got my account funded right there at the bottom of the market. And I looked for something to buy. I said, what's going to come back quick and strong? Disney. Yeah, people are going to go to Disney World. They don't care. And it did. I rode Disney for the next 6 months or so. I got in at 85 or the mid 80s, and I rode it till November and sold at like 145. And man, I was a $6,000 profit. I said, wow, that was easy money. Let's do it again. This is easy. Just grab a stock and let it run. Although it didn't turn out to be quite that easy. I didn't do good. Coming around to the first of 2021, I had lost back all of that beautiful profit from Disney. And I was thinking, man, I better get some help. All right, I searched the internet. I said, who can help me? Well, here's a good company. I recognize them. I've seen their ads all over. I'll give them $100 and subscribe, and they're going to give me some picks, guaranteed to be winners. They gave me, I think, 7 stocks. 7 stocks, yeah. Hold these for 5 years, they said, and you will be rewarded. Well, my friends, it's been 4.5 years. I've built a portfolio in FinViz, and you will see that momentarily. And we will go over the 7 stocks that they recommended and how they performed. I think you'll find this quite interesting. Okay, here we go. The 7 stocks that were recommended: Autodesk, Coupa, Lemonade, Nano Dimensions, Okta, Zoom, and ZYNGA. Let's take the Autodesk. We'll start at the top of the list and work our way down. Autodesk, by the way, has performed better than all of them. Autodesk purchased 10 shares at an average cost of $317.70 a share. Total cost, $3,177. The current price is $307.27. That is a gain of overall for 4.5 years of minus $104.30, or minus 3.28%. Next on the list is Coupa. Unfortunately, Coupa got real bad, dropped significantly, and by 2022 had been bought by a private company, and it was no longer trading on the market. Next up, we have Lemonade. So Lemonade purchased 10 shares at an average cost of $177.65 a share, for a total cost of $1,776.50. The current price is $41.80. That is a gain of minus $1,358.50, or minus 76.47%. Which brings us to Nano Dimension Limited. Purchased 10 shares of Nano at an average cost of $13.69 for a total cost of $136.90. All right, the current price is $1.58. The gain is minus $121.10, or basically a net loss of 88%, give or take. Moving on, we come to Okta. Okta is a software company, and we have 10 shares at an average cost of $251.55 per share. That's a total cost of $25.15.50, and the current price, $99.15. That leaves us with a negative gain, or let's just call it what it is, a loss of $1,524, or 60.58%. And we finish up our analysis with Zoom, since ZYNGA crashed and burned and was bought up by a private company for pennies on the dollar. I'm sure many of you have heard of Zoom. I think this was the Speaker Pelosi's favorite pick at the time after COVID. So I purchased 10 shares at $343.70 per share for a total cost of $3,437. The current price of Zoom is $77.38. This brings us a net loss of $2,663.20, or minus 77.49%. In summary, had I stuck with these 7 tickers, I would be at an overall loss of $5,771.10, losing over 52% of my original investment. But in all fairness, the professional analyst did say hold it for 5 years, so there's 6 months left. Well, so I've put this together in hopes that someone will see it and realize that you can't necessarily take anyone's advice on what stocks you should buy. Some of the stocks were absolute losers from the beginning. Most of them were at all-time highs and there was nowhere to go but down. And some of them really went down. But anyway, be careful out there. Use your best judgment. Do your own research. And if you don't know what you're doing, don't put a whole lot of money into any 1, 2, or 7 stocks. One bad trade can do severe damage to your finances. But in all honesty, I closed these positions out within 30 days of opening. Out of my $11,000 investment, I only lost about 10%, or about $1,100. So that was a good lesson on me. I would just say, don't be foolish. Good luck.